It's 2025. Have Clarins finally come up with a decent wearable foundation? Let's unpack it. Hi guys, and welcome back, and today I'm talking about the new Clarins Skin Illusion Full Cover Foundation. Now, it's been more than a decade since I've been really impressed by a Clarins foundation, and I think the last one that really blew me away was one that came out probably about 15 years ago, if not longer, and it's the original Skin Illusion Mineral Effect Natural Radiance Foundation. It looked like this, so it's not around anymore. It was discontinued a while back. I had the perfect shade. I was in shade 112 Amber, and I repurchased a couple of these over the years when they were still available. But ever since then, I've really struggled to find a Clarins foundation that I love. I have also tried the Skin Illusion Velvet. Unfortunately, this was quite limited shade range. I couldn't get my exact shade. It is great for combination skin, but my skin texture has changed slightly. I'm a little bit drier than I was when I first purchased this, so I don't reach for this that often, and I also have to mix it with something else because the shade is a little bit too light for me. So it really has been the longest time since I have found a Clarins foundation that I love. Now, I do love the Clarins skincare range, and I really love their lip range as well. I love their natural lip perfectors, their lipsticks, but unfortunately, in terms of their makeup, their foundation, I have always given them quite a hard pass. But that was until the most recent launch. So I saw this new foundation advertised, and there was something in the marketing that just spoke to me. And we know that marketing is really just more often than not, it's a lot of fluff, but they really did something that caught my eye. It was nothing specific, it was just something that really made me pay attention. So I'm going to read a little bit about what they say about the foundation. Also, it's been quite a while since they've launched a new foundation, and I think that that's what really perked me up. So they do say that it's a high coverage foundation that withstands the emotions of everyday life for a flawless makeup result. They say that you can use it whenever you want a perfectly even, long-lasting complexion with a luminous matte finish. So I do have combination skin, and my dream is to find a matte finish that doesn't make my skin look dead. They talk about a luminous matte finish. That's a little bit of a contradiction, but we'll let that pass. What makes it so special, they say it's 24-hour wear, transfer proof. It has a high natural coverage, luminous matte finish, visibly reduces imperfections, reduces shine, it hydrates the skin. And they say that it offers 24 hours of hold and a feeling of comfort that resists emotions. And they talk about emotions quite a lot here in their description. They say that it's sweat, humidity, smiles, and tears resistant, so waterproof, transfer proof, sweat proof, and emotion proof. So they do make quite a lot of claims. Obviously, I don't buy into the whole 24-hour hold, but if they talk about 24 hours, then generally you should be able to get half of that. So you should be able to get a good 12-hour wear out of your foundation. I normally get about 8 to 10 hours out of general or other foundations. And then they go on to talk a little bit about the formula and the ingredients. I won't go into the ingredients here. I'm looking for something that's really comfortable on my skin. I'm looking for something that looks natural as well, that doesn't look cakey and is not going to exacerbate my imperfections and my texture. So I do have quite a long ask in foundations, and also something that is going to not necessarily make me look younger, but is not going to make me look older, put it that way. So I got a little sample of this in store. Now, there are 26 different shades, and they're quite wearable shades. So I know that in the past, Clarins has come out with some very funky kind of orangey colors, but this range is quite wearable. And I tried a couple of different shades, and the one that I was matched to was 111. Let's have a look. I got this as a little sample. Now, it is quite a thick foundation. It does come obviously in a 30ml beautiful glass bottle with a pump, but it's not a very liquidy foundation in that it runs all over the place, and it is highly pigmented as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm just going to start with the least amount possible on my skin. So I'm just dotting it all over the skin, and you'll see that you really don't need a lot of this. A little goes a long way. So that is definitely a bonus, because psychologically it also feels that I'm not caking my skin, and it also gives it a chance to sheer out on the face, but to give you coverage at the same time. That's what the higher pigmentation does. So I'm taking a foundation brush. I don't like to use a sponge with foundations. I'm using one from my range. This is our foundation brush 101. I do prefer using a foundation brush. It's just easier for me. And I'm just going to blend that all over the skin. Now, it blends really beautifully. I do have skincare on, and I've got some sunscreen on as well. And I do find that this is blending beautifully over the skin. So I have also applied concealer. I'm still using my Estee Lauder Skin Illusion. Skin Illusion. It's not Skin Illusion, but I will put the correct name up on the screen. It is one that I discovered fairly recently, and I'm still really enjoying it. So I have got that under the eyes, and I'm just buffing this into the skin. Now this is a really good shade match for me. It really is blending in beautifully, which is a problem that I have found with Clarins foundations in the past. Ever since they stopped making this one, they just haven't managed, I don't know what's happened to their shade range. They just haven't managed to get it right. But this one I was in shade 112 Amber. This just matched my skin absolutely perfectly. So I don't know why they couldn't just carry on with that formula. But anyway, we know makeup companies just change. If something's really working for you, it will change. Unless it's Estee Lauder Double Wear. That's been the same for a while. But there we have the first layer. And it really is, so it's a thin layer. I've put minimal on. It is evening out my skin tone. I can still see a little bit of my texture, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to apply a little bit more. So I was very, very minimal on the first go. So I'm going to apply a little bit more. I'm just going to blend that in. And this definitely is not going to make your skin look cakey. It does oxidize slightly as well, so that's just something to remember. But this does go on beautifully, and it is looking quite flawless actually from where I'm sitting now. And I'm sure that you could also apply it with your fingers. I find that when I use my fingers, I do tend to get a slightly sheerer coverage. So what I'm going to do is just with the rest, I'm going to use my fingers. So I do get a slightly sheerer coverage of the foundation. But sometimes it really is just nice to be able to blend something with your fingers. And this you can definitely blend out with your fingers. I wouldn't say there's a lot of luminosity. They talk about a matte luminous finish. There's not a lot of luminosity. I would say it's a satin finish. It's a soft finish, definitely not cakey. It is covering a lot of my redness, but definitely not cakey. So it really is quite natural looking. You can still see my skin through the foundation. You can still see a few imperfections. And I'm going to add a little bit more. So we're just going to see to what extent that we can build this up. But I really do like it. It's fairly smoothing on my texture as well. Just going to add a little bit to the T-zone where I have the most pores. And we'll see if we can build it up. It's definitely not looking cakey. And it's definitely not pilling either. So you can build it up, which is really good news. So it's probably one that is actually quite nice to apply in layers. You probably wouldn't go in off the bat with a lot of the foundation and just one thick layer. I think it actually works quite nicely to build it up. So it is definitely buildable. And it does give me a very nice finish on the skin. So it hasn't completely obliterated all my texture, because then you would be looking quite mask-like. So I don't have a problem with texture coming through. I really don't. But at the same time, it's doing a really good job of giving me quite a full coverage. So it's a little bit of a contradiction, actually, this foundation. They say it's full coverage, definitely not cakey. Does cover, but also lets a little bit of your skin come through. I also just wanted to say that the foundation does have a fragrance. So all the Clarins foundations have got that cucumber fragrance. It's not lingering. You can obviously smell it when you first apply the foundation, but then it does dissipate. So it's just a very fresh scent, and it does go away. Now, I'm not going to powder the foundation at this stage. I am going to apply a little bit of blush. So I'm going in with a cream blush. I'm using one of the new ones from MAC. This is the Strobe blush, and this is in the shade Unsweetened. We're just going to see how this applies to the foundation. So this is also a very pigmented blush. I'm just going to apply a couple of dots to the skin, and then I'm going to blend it out with a brush, and we're going to see how the foundation performs underneath this. So foundation is staying put. It's not moving around at all, and the blush is working really good, working really well on top of it. Just blending that out in patting motions. So if you wanted to apply a powder blush, I'm sure you wouldn't have an issue. I don't think you'd need to apply powder first. I think if you just gently tap on your powder, it's going to work just as well as a cream. So this foundation is not going anywhere in a hurry. So I'm going to apply a little bit of powder because I do have some shine in my T-zone, and this is how I would ordinarily apply a powder to any foundation because I do have oily skin. So I'm going to take my trusted Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, and I'm going to apply just a little bit of powder to the T-zone just to finish it off. So if you have really dry skin, you're not going to want to apply a powder. If you have combination skin or oily skin, you probably will want to apply a finishing powder. Is this good for dry skin? I think not for really dry skin, but I think for fairly dry skin, you wouldn't have an issue with this foundation. But if you have really dry skin, dry mature skin, I probably wouldn't venture with this. I would go for something with a lot more luminosity to it. But for combination skin or really oily skin, I think it will definitely work for you. So we're just going to apply a little bit of powder to the T-zone. And then I'm just going to fix up my hair. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you some more thoughts on the wear of the foundation and some of the other claims that Clarins makes. And I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are on those. This is not a first impression, so I have used this foundation before, so I do have a good idea of its longevity, wear time, etc. So I will be back. Now, I just wanted to say something else about this foundation. When I'm applying the foundation, I'm using a 5x mirror. So things do look quite different when I'm looking up close. I see my pores, I see my texture. And so it is quite difficult for me to become really effusive about a foundation. But what I have to say is when I got up to do my hair, I was looking at it in a normal mirror. I was looking at the foundation and it really looks good. So from a decent distance, it really does look flawless. I really appreciate the shade of the foundation, and it really does look like a good made up foundation. I mean, what I mean by that is you can obviously see that I am wearing foundation, but it looks quite flawless. It really does give a beautiful finish. And so I wanted to say that it really does look a whole lot better in real life than it does for me looking in a 5x mirror. So that's what I wanted to get across. Now, in terms of the longevity, they say it's waterproof, humidity resistant, sweat proof, all those lovely things. I would say that it definitely has a very good lasting time of about up to 12 hours. So obviously I haven't worn it for a full 24 hours, never will do that with the foundation. but it really did wear well over a period of about 10 to 12 hours. So that I would definitely say gets a thumbs up. In terms of being transfer proof, I do blot my face from time to time throughout the day because my oils do start peeking through, and there is a little bit of transfer, so it's not completely transfer proof. You will get a little bit of transfer, but it's quite negligible. It's not one that is a foundation that's going to come off every time you touch your face. You know, you're going to get it all over your fingers. It's definitely got a decent amount of hold. I have worn it in quite high temperatures, and I've worn it when it's quite humid as well. My skin still does perspire throughout during the humidity. When I blot, as I say, there is still a little bit of foundation that comes off, but it doesn't disrupt the overall wear, so it still stays on. It's definitely not as bulletproof as my Estee Lauder Double Wear. Nothing really comes close to that, to be honest, but this is a really good one. So guys, let me know if you've tried this foundation. Let me know what you think. Please leave me a comment down below. I am very pleased to say that I think that 2025 is the year that Clarins have finally got their shit together. They have finally come out with a really decent, wearable, long-wearing foundation in some half-decent shades. So I think that that is progress for the brand. They have really been struggling in terms of their makeup for a long time now, and maybe this is the start of a comeback for Clarins. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.